Casted an NASL game together, Dan.
That's right, Ben. They've been trying to keep us apart as much as possible. That's all I know. I remember even before the week started, they're like, all right, we have Ben and Dan here today, ready to cast. Clutch, you want to fill in? It's like, man, you just really don't want me to.
When you bring two forces together that are as strong as each of us, you just don't know what the result's going to be.
This is going to be like the new East meets the West, the new Rush Hour. Rush Hour 4 is Mr. Bitter and Frodo.
I'll be the Chris Tucker to your Jackie Chan.
Oh, Ben, you definitely have the mouth. Why don't you introduce our players as we get ready for game number 1?
I would be happy to. We can see spawning up here in the top left-hand corner of Whirlwind is Alicia, and damn, is that a pylon? Yes, it is.
This is actually MaNa, Ben.
Oh, sorry, I was so excited about my Chris Tucker reference, but I dropped the ball there. No. It is MaNa in the top left. Down in the bottom right is Alicia playing as Og.
Ben, you do have a very nice Ebonics accent to your tongue. If you really put it by yourself.
Not even gonna touch that one. Not in a million years am I gonna touch that one.
You just tried to. You just tried to be Chris Tucker. He's one of my favorite African American actors, though.
Mine too.
Along with
Mine
Denzel.
Too. Let's talk about StarCraft. As we have gateways down on either side of the map, and already a double gas opening here for Alicia. What in the world, Dan, could he be doing this with his fast double gas? I know you play a lot of Protoss.
Alicia does like going for Blink as well, but on a very big map like Whirlwind, we've been seeing Koreans actually explore the idea of going for Dark Templars and expanding. We saw Finale doing a lot of that in GSL, and I wonder what's been going on because Alicia, he hasn't been playing in too many high-profile games. He's not in GSL. Everyone knows that he hasn't been used by Slayers in the GSTL. They've been using Eve instead, and other players on Slayers. So I'm really curious because Alicia's kind of been under the dark. We haven't seen it just yet. But I remember actually talking with Zoe about Alicia's Protoss versus Protoss, and she thinks that Alicia may be one of the best in Korea at Protoss versus Protoss, just simply by his early control. Alicia loves using early stalkers, and his Zealot Stalker Probe micro against the other opponent is always pristine.
Whirlwind's going to be it was a very long map, so it's going to be hard for us to actually see something like Zealot Stalker Probe facing off in the middle of the map. Not impossible. These guys are opening pretty similar, but we've actually got Alicia going Sentry after Zealot, which is awfully interesting. MaNa is, of course, doing the more normal Zealot into Stalker stuff. And MaNa's still on 1 gas, which is, at this point in the game, it's a little bit abnormal.
Yeah, you don't delay this gas that long unless you want to just go for a huge rush early on, especially if you don't even add on a second gate. Alicia is going for a Stargate. Stargate is very good on big maps as well, Andre, and I know Puzzle, his former teammate, used to do Stargate play all the time in Protoss versus Protoss, and then you even can drop a Robotic straight afterwards. Just use a few Phoenixes to control the map, and then immediately get Immortals, because you expect them to go Blink after you get Stargate units out.
MaNa is throwing down a couple more gates, so we're going to see at least 3 gate pressure from MaNa. Still hasn't taken that second gas, and still hasn't shown any other real inclinations. There's the second gas going down, so it's just going to be a little 3 gate pressure in 2. I guess whatever. Phoenixes are already being chrono boosted out, and as long as Alicia controls this properly, as long as he doesn't freak out and miss a force field, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, Alicia should be okay, but at the same time, he doesn't necessarily know how to read it because MaNa could have 4 gates behind it, but it is a little bit quicker than normal because it's only 5:30 mark, and MaNa only showed Zealot Stalker. MaNa showing every single sign of huge aggression, and Alicia now getting 2 Zealots, a Stalker, and a Sentry. He should be okay. Like you said, another force field is going to come out.
Actually, MaNa's going to push forward, and he okay, canceling that pylon at the very last second. I guess he was just going to try and see if Alicia would miss that force field. Stalker's still going to come pushing forward, and they're actually about to breach the ramp. There is no more force field, and it's 5 Stalkers against 3 Stalkers, 2 Zealots, a Sentry, and a Phoenix. That's a little bit too much stuff, I think, but the warp-in could change everything.
Yeah, the Zealots are not able to work on the probes. Alicia forced to pull some of his workers off. Now the Phoenix don't really bring too much utility because they're so high, or they're energy based, and they call so much, Ben. And MaNa, he is trying to work with whatever he can, picking off a Stalker, which is very important. But I think Alicia's held this off very nicely. Look at how good of his control is. The only thing that's lost is his mind time. He has another warp, and MaNa being super aggressive with this.
it's even in supply right now, 35 to 35, and Probes will once more come off the line. MaNa has to micro this as well as he possibly can. Phoenix is going to lift a single Stalker. Zealous doing good work. This is a close fight, Dan.
Oh, MaNa's also adding 2 more gates, so this is it. He's also placing a pylon in the middle of the base. This is going to be the nail in the coffin if he can secure that position, but I think Alicia is too distracted. He's pulling more probes. He's only got a few left on the minerals, and MaNa, his Protoss versus Protoss looked awesome against Sage at DreamHack Bucharest, and it looks like it's going to be awesome here against Alicia.
He's already killed 11 probes, and he's continuing to pour on this aggression. Phoenixes will lift up more Stalkers, but there is a pylon completed in Alicia's base. Will MaNa try to warp in once more? Yes, he does.
And Alicia's Stalkers are so weak. He does have Phoenixes, but they're sitting 200 gas because he hasn't been able to do anything other than lift units. MaNa does end up having his aggression thwarted, but again, the worker counts is so in favor of MaNa. The only thing that Alicia has in his favor is in fact his tech, but MaNa's now on 5 gates.
Yeah, and Alicia's tech, while it's more developed than MaNa's, is not necessarily fantastic. He only has Phoenixes, but he is going to try to come crash down this ramp. He's lifting up Stalkers, but MaNa will focus down. Oh, focus fire MaNa. He was going to kill 1 Stalker, and he's going to end up losing, I think, 2 or 3 of his own, so that was a little bit sloppy. Supply-wise, Alicia is up, but just barely. 26 supply to 33, and as you pointed out already, Dan, the worker tab does favor MaNa.
Oh, this is actually funny. Alicia doesn't even know where his opponents technically spawn because he hasn't been able to scout this entire time. So that's going to buy MaNa some valuable time. But Phoenixes can harass forever until MaNa basically gets a huge Stalker count, because just even with this small amount of units, Phoenixes can harass as much as they want. This is Alicia's ticket to get back into the game, as now he's adding on more gateways. But I still think MaNa's in a pretty decent position as long as he's able to fend off against his Phoenix harass.
Yeah, he's going to have to be really careful not to lose tons and tons of probes. But if we look at the unit tab, we can see it's only 3 Phoenixes out. It's not the same kind of a threat as if Alicia had made, 8 or maybe 7 Phoenixes, something more like that. Alicia's just doing the flyby right now, sees all the gates, sees MaNa's very underdeveloped tech. There's a Twilight Council down, but Blink's only about 25% of the way complete, so MaNa's not in a position to get aggressive.
No, not at all. I mean, Alicia can just bust the ramp by lifting up the sentries and forcing his way up. The only thing he has to be careful of is his Stalker count, just because 5 versus 4 is, again, just simple math. Not able to fight against it. MaNa trying to see if he can pick off one.
That would be huge, but does not happen. And MaNa being very smart there, preemptively dropping Force Field. And Alicia is not going to chance it. He's going to back off. He's not going to let that pylon finish. And once more, we do see pretty even supplies. Income tab still favors MaNa. Army tab shows us that Alicia's barely ahead, but he still has these Phoenixes, and while they will be somewhat useful in a fight, they are not the same kind of fighting unit that the Blink Stalker is, certainly not in this situation.
Very nice harass here from Alicia, just basically saying, MaNa, if you want to commit to this aggression, I'm going to pull ahead, and if you don't do enough damage, I'm going to pull way ahead. MaNa trying to see if he can kite some of these Zealots and then blink backwards. Very nice job. And trying to see if he can bait Alicia, perhaps, because remember, these Stalkers don't have blink. Alicia miscontrolling for just 1 second. MaNa able to pick off a huge amount of Stalkers. That is, oh my gosh, that's so much damage.
Will he blink forward? No, the force field does go down, but great engagement there from MaNa as he will lock Alicia out of his natural there. MaNa's just going to control this low ground. Alicia's forced to sit there and spin force field. Phoenix is going to head over to the other side of the map and try to do some harassing, which could be pretty effective. There's no anti-air back at home, so this Phoenix will be able to use all of their energy. That will propel Alicia well ahead in the workers. But there's the big aggressive blink by MaNa up onto the high ground. All or nothing right here. Big warp in for Alicia. Can he hold?
Very nice force fields from MaNa as well to shield his Stalkers from the Zealots that have closed a gap, and it's too big of an advantage. MaNa has all the Stalkers, and Alicia has none. He's got 1 Zealot to defend against this huge force, and that is going to be too much economic damage. Alicia finally calling back his Phoenixes, but they got the message a little bit too late.
There are no more options right now for Alicia. He's trying to build a gateway on the other side of the map in hopes of getting some extra warp ins, but it's not going to matter. Dark Shrine going to be focused down. MaNa going to close off any hopes that Alicia has at victory, and he is going to cinch up this game. Great play from the Polish Protoss.
Yeah, MaNa playing extremely well. Alicia pulling his probes one last time, realizing that, if he doesn't deal with this, that's pretty much it. He lost his investment as well, forced to cancel on the Dark Templar Shrine. Stalkers are playing it very thin, trying to blink out, but MaNa, great control thus far.
Yeah, fantastic control. Phoenix is trying to do something, but Alicia all the way down to just 12 supply is forced to tap out. GG MaNa takes game number 1. You know who's not surprised? This guy. This guy, because I picked MaNa to win.
I mean, Alicia is really good PvP, and I think that's a testament more to MaNa. You don't think Alicia's good PvP? Or are you just shaking your head at my prediction, Ben? Ben, you do this all the time, then you don't say anything for like 2 minutes, and you just keep shaking.
Last game brought to you guys by LABite.com. If you live in the Los Angeles or Orange County area and you don't feel like leaving your computer chair, you're watching the NASL, you don't want to go throw a pizza in the oven, you don't want to go make a sandwich, maybe your girlfriend's not home, and
or all of the above.
and you're just starving, head over to LABite.com. They work with more than 1,000 restaurants serving the Los Angeles and Orange County area. And they will pick up anything you want. They'll deliver it to your doorstep. You will have to go answer the door.
That's not worth it then, right?
Yeah. Maybe if you leave special instructions, let yourself in, come to my desk.
Is that why you set your pro players right next to the door so as soon as they knock, they can answer for you and then bring it upstairs for you?
Yep, that's exactly right. When you head over to LABite.com, use the promo code NASL for a special treat, like a cheesecake or a Pizookie. We're going to take a break. Game 2, MaNa versus Alicia when we get back.